What is going on, boys? How are we doing today? It is 4/20/2026, and today I'm going to be going over the one trade we had. It's a banger long in all-time high conditions. And without further ado, let's get right into it, right? And like always, my Discord is currently active right now. Go ahead and join. The link is going to be in the description. I post my daily buys and trades every single day and also answer any type of questions anyone has in the server. And right here is just basically my daily bias, saying we're bullish, showing what we're looking at, what we're doing, what we're respecting, if we're opening higher, lower, whatever the moves are. And there's also access to my model in a PDF form, which is completely free for anyone to join. So go ahead, come support, and we'll see you guys there. All right, so hopping into TradingView, what is our bias? We are obviously bullish. And why is this? We created this new week opening gap, and we are completely respecting all of these bullish gaps. When we're in all-time high conditions, we want to play with the trend and ride along the same trend, right? The trend is your friend. Like I say in almost every single video, there's no reason to be shorting in bullish all-time high conditions. That is just a recipe for disaster. Every single person I see who's taking losses on social media is posting shorts. Maybe if you did want a short to rebalance the range, I could see that. However, majority of these plays are going to be longs. I think the last like 5 trades I've taken were longs because we've been in these all-time high conditions. And that is exactly what I'm going to be looking for today. So going into replay, let me go to 9:30 market open. And what are we looking at, right? We have amazing bullish structure, clear bullish order flow. We have all of these gaps, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, as well as this new week opening gap. We are waiting for this to get filled. And so this fill for this new week opening gap is one of the main draws. As we can see, obviously new week opening gaps love to get filled, especially when we are already 80% of the way filling them before market even opens. It is very evident that price is probably going to continue and fill this gap. We also did have an unmitigated 15-minute fair value gap right above us here, and our previous or all-time highs right above us, which is our main draw on liquidity. And when talking about draws on liquidity, it is important. There are 2 main draws on liquidity. There's my long-term and short-term. And what do I mean by that? Long-term draw on liquidity is what I want to either see get hit by the end of the session or maybe even the next day. And short term, this new week opening gap, this is too close. This is only 30 points away at 9:15, right before market opens. I'm assuming that if we open, we're either immediately going to wick up and take out this new week opening gap, maybe come down, retrace into a 5-minute gap, and then continue up, or we are just going to manipulate lower into a higher time frame gap and then take this gap out very fast, right? This is something I'm looking to get hit with in the first like 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the market, just because we are so close to it. And a move to this new week opening gap is probably going to be very fast and very quick. Such as something I'm looking out for, right? So on the 15-minute chart, what do we see? We have all this low resistance liquidity. This is just looking absolutely beautiful per price to come sweep out. Even on the 1 minute, as you can see, we're clearly trending upwards, and we can immediately take out all this low resistance liquidity and then continue higher. That is what I'm going to be looking for. And what am I also looking for? I'm looking for our higher time frame gaps. And what do we have? We are trading in an hourly and 4 hourly. And we also have this beautiful unfilled 15-minute fair value gap. Now, unmitigated 15 fair value gaps are one of my favorite draws. We love to see price come tap into these gaps and then continue up from there. So that is essentially what I'm going to be looking for, a continuation long after we retrace into a higher time frame gap. In this case, this unmitigated 15 is incredibly strong. I'm going to wait for this to get hit and then continue to take longs. So I'm going to fast forward a little, and here's market open 9:30. As you can see, we immediately wicked up, like I kind of said, and we did not touch this new week opening gap fill. Remember, I was saying, okay, we might immediately close out this fill. No, we did not. We just ended up wicking up and then completely displacing lower, right? So as of now, I have nothing. I'm just going to continue to wait for price. And there actually was this inversion right here. It was off the first 2 minutes of market open. And I did see a lot of people, like some people say, oh, like patty swing. I believe that's a term for it. But basically, like after like the 9:30 opening candle, if there's an inversion fair value gap after displacing heavily into one direction, people will take this. And this is just not a good trade. And why is this? Yes, we did have an inversion fair value gap, and that did get displaced through. And yes, in this position, if you did want to target the this gap, you could have. However, risk to reward on this, obviously, it's not very pleasant. And if you did want to take a higher draw, like to the all-time highs, that is also kind of a viable target. However, we just don't have any sponsorship behind this trade, right? We did not tap into a higher time frame gap. We still have this beautiful 15-minute gap right under us. And most of these setups that I see usually just end up failing, because what ends up happening is that maybe we'll pump up a little bit, but we're just generating liquidity, and eventually we are just going to shoot down, then take out this higher time frame, and then continue all the way up. So usually in situations like this was not a long I would ever take, right? We have no higher time frame sponsorship behind it, like I said. And if we did tap into this, I would have loved to take this. However, we didn't. So I'm assuming price is just going to either shoot up or accumulate here a little and then just completely go down south into this higher time frame gap. And if we play price, that is exactly what happens. We can see the trade fail. And right at this point, we can clearly see we are in that 15-minute fair value gap. And what I want to note is, what do we start doing for the next couple minutes? We just start accumulating. And if you know anything about the power of three, what do we want to look for? We want to look for accumulation, then we want to look for a manipulation downwards, and then distribution up. So this is exactly what I'm looking for. Same thing in my pre-market analysis, same thing I just said before. What do we end up doing? We ended up tapping into this unmitigated 15 gap, right? And then we create a 1 minute inversion off of this. And I believe it was on the next candle that we ended up closing, right? So I believe there was also a 2 minute, no, I might be wrong. Yeah, there's a 1 minute inversion right there. As you can see, the next candle, we had a great displacement. And this is a setup I took, right? We tapped into this unmitigated 15 fair value gap. We created a 1 minute inversion and we had a great displacement higher. We have a higher time frame trend of being bullish. So what am I looking for? Longs. This is a perfect bread and butter setup for me, right? So what am I going to be targeting? Now, in this case, my main draw is that new week opening gap being filled, and also this 930 wick. And when I saw this 930 wick really high, usually these data highs or data wicks are very, very solid draw points. And in this case, I guess you can argue that this might be a protected high, so price really won't tap into that. However, I did not think this was going to be a protected high. I thought price was going to continue up, and I really thought we were going to hold to these all-time high conditions, right? And this is where I had my target. I had my target at this 930 wick. And as you can see, if we did have our stop loss, I believe I had mine right here. This is a 3.75 hour trade. This is very, very high for me. Usually I go for 1-to-1s. And in this case, if I would have targeted this 5 minute intermediate high, or sorry, this minute intermediate high right here, this would have been like the perfect ideal target. Why? Because we have a clear mark. We have a clear draw, and this is a strong rejection point for price. So I am like almost 100% sure that price is going to hit this point, and this could have been an easy 1-to-1. However, I ended up having this point as my break-even point, and I ended up trying to hold for that 930. Now, why did I do this? Number one, it was just drawing liquidity. Drawing liquidity is king. The entry model is really the least important step of trading, and in this instance, I really believed that this 930 high was going to get taken out, so I was okay with holding this. Now, looking back on it, I should have just held for this 1-to-1. It was a clear target point. Everything was played out perfectly. This would have been an amazing, amazing, amazing setup. Just taking that piece of the pie, no reason to get greedy and hold up all the way here. However, my draw and confluences that price would want to reach this 930 high was too strong for me not to target it. So I ended up holding for this with the break-even point. And if we end up playing out the trade, you can see we immediately took profit. So clean. Once we marked out this point, this is my break-even. So I did move my stop loss and we ended up holding. We were pushing super high. We got really close. However, we ended up breaking even on this trade. But yeah, that was a trade. Honestly, this was such an A+ trade. Like, this is so bread and butter. This is the correct move, the 1-to-1. No point to get greedy. However, when you have a strong draw on liquidity like this 930 high, this was worth to me holding. And even though it didn't play out, I'm still not upset. I'm still not mad. I was holding for it. Yeah, people were saying, oh, you could be greedy and stuff. Just take your piece of the pie. Yeah, usually I do. If you watch any of my old videos, I literally always close out like for a 1-to-1 and like 90% of the times. This time, I just saw in all-time high conditions, we would be way more willing to send price up here way faster. And unfortunately, we just didn't. And that's the reality of it. We broke even, so lost no money. So that's still a W on the day. So I hope you liked that video. I hope you guys found it informative. If you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, whatever it is. Anything will be incredibly appreciated. I have my free Discord linked in the bio. Go check that out if you haven't. Come show some support and love. I'm going to be making some new content for you, new YouTube videos, new reels, new every single thing where I can show you as much educational content as I can. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Happy 420 to the ones who celebrate. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.